I'm Dr. Naomi Wolf. I'm a nonfiction writer of 8 best-selling books. Usually they're about women's issues or civil liberties, which I see as connected. I first realized that COVID was something I was going to have to deal with in my life when I was on a business trip in London in March of 2020. And I was sitting next to someone on the stage or behind the stage at the event, and she said she couldn't get in to see her family in northern Italy because it had been closed off. And then my next event was at a radio show, and suddenly the newspapers were full of this virus. And the radio presenter was using hand sanitizer, and she said, "Forgive me, I'm not going to shake hands." And she looked really terrified. And I thought, well, this is a new thing in the world. I know a lot of people went into a state of denial or confusion. I didn't, because I went into a state of hostility and skepticism because I've studied mass panics in history. And ever since I wrote The End of America, which was about the 12-year-long mass panic of terrorism, which was a real thing, but inflated, manipulated, weaponized to scare people into losing their civil liberties. I have been aware, and ever since I've been a political consultant 21 years ago and more for the Clinton White House and for Vice President Gore's election campaign, I'm aware that policymakers make use of fear. They really do. So and I've also lived in areas where there were real terrifying things to be scared of, like conflict areas. I lived in Israel as a child where there were real explosions, all around us, real acts of terrorism. I've lived through war, the Yom Kippur War in Israel. And in a real crisis, leaders try to calm people down. That's in an epidemiological crisis. Real leaders try to calm people down. I mean, that's even what happened in the HIV crisis, which I lived through. Initially, policymakers and religious leaders were using every kind of scare tactic. And then finally, real leaders from the community said, calm down. This is how we're going to move through this together. This is how we're going to take care of ourselves, how we're going to take care of each other. So whenever there are huge headlines with press releases from elected officials or, government bureaucrats saying, be scared, be scared, be scared, I'm likely to look very deeply at that because there's usually a hidden agenda.